kicking it off with Hall of Famer Thurman Thomas, who joins us in the studio. Good to have you, Thurm, as always.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't want to shoot it right out of the gate here, but we know a lot of times when you come to games, you wear a jersey of a current player.
Yeah.
A lot of times you're doing that. What'd you have? You had Josh on for the Monday night game, is that right? You had Josh Allen's jersey on? I think you had 17, if I remember right.
Yeah, I had 17,
Yeah.
I only went 17 because Bruce was doing 40.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Well, yeah, Bruce is always kind of, we know how that works.
That's what Bruce wants.
Right.
We know how that works. And I'm sure it's not even his jersey. He just took it from somebody for nothing. Anyway, the players on this roster have kind of flipped the script on that. I don't know if you saw this. I'm sure you heard about it on social media if you didn't see it live. But Von at the game in Baltimore on Sunday with the Thurman T-shirt. Did you see this?
I saw that.
Huh? How about that?
Pretty nice there. Yeah, that was something. And I talked to him a little bit before the Tennessee game.
Okay.
And just, introduced myself. Hey, we're both from Texas.
Yeah.
That's how we roll like that. So introduced him, myself and my wife, and then he comes back with this. I'm like, that's pretty sweet.
He had you remember he had the old headband shot on, like when he had the white headband picture of you there. Look at that one, the bottom right there.
Oh yeah, when I first wore that was a no punt game.
Oh, in San Francisco?
Oh yeah.
That was the first half.
That was the only game I wore.
Why? You had a great game.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just
come on.
Apparently Thurman's not superstitious. So.
Anti-superstitious.
Yeah, right. I didn't really care about that. It was just kind of a look. I saw somebody else do it, and I did
no
it.
punt game.
That looks good.
Yeah, exactly.
Bills are getting that done a lot these days.
Oh my God.
So that's got to be pretty cool. Like,
yeah,
the current players kind of paying homage to the.
Yeah, and him doing that in Baltimore. And last week I had on Micah Hyde. Just for, purposes of that and what he's going through, and surgery went well. So, so I do it every week. I was going to come up with a different jersey. I got a different jersey that I'm wearing this Sunday.
Don't tell us.
No, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
I never.
I like the reveal. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So, yeah. Actually, I got my little Thurm. He's picking it up now.
Thurm is?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because I couldn't.
Yeah.
I had to come here and talk to you
You have
guys.
commitments, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Commitments.
You
I
got
gotta work.
responsibilities.
Right, exactly.
All right.
What about, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we seem to have a weekly conversation with you, Thurm, about the running game. Now, here was Coach McDermott's assessment of it. He said on Wednesday, just yesterday, it's improving in his estimation in terms of the blocking assignments and execution. Yeah. It's not where we need it to be yet by any means. Mm-hmm. And then he finished by saying, sometimes it just takes time.
Took time last year.
It did take time last year. It did. It took 10 weeks last year. How much, I guess every year it's different in terms of when it finally clicks in. Yeah. What do you make, it's by your reaction, you seem to accept that answer.
Yeah, I do. We're right now, we're riding the hot hand of Josh Allen.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. And Josh loves it. Up to this point, but I think, we got, 13 more games to go.
Right. There's time.
There's time for it to do it. And as long as Josh has the hot hand now, because, hey, as much as I would love for him to go through the season doing what he's doing, there's going to be some games where we're both going to sit up here every Monday and talk about, well, Josh wasn't looking himself there.
Well, look at last week. Not that it was all his fault, because I was watching receivers coach Chad Hall reaming out his receiving corps on the sideline last week for route running and God knows what else. But, I'm in the press box. They're on the other sideline.
Right.
And he is he's got them all in a group there.
Gesticulating.
And this was in the first half when things weren't going right. People were dropping passes.
Well, I have to stop you on that just for a little bit, because on some of those passes, Josh was throwing the ball,
rocket
zipping
balls.
It right, and they were here from the pole right there. And it's hard in the rain to try to adjust to that. You would think he would take something off, but he didn't.
Fastball.
Steve talks about this, and we saw more of this early in Josh's career, where he used to get so jacked up for games. He'd come out the first two series, and he's throwing rocket balls. And that, Steve, I don't know about you, but we didn't even talk about that this week. That's the first time I've seen that from Josh in quite some time. And I think it was the whole Josh Lamar thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe a
I'm
little.
going to outperform this MVP and blah. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it
there's
could've
some of
been.
that competitive fire in
Absolutely.
him, and
Yeah.
I think they had to peel him off the ceiling a little bit last
Yeah,
week.
maybe. I got to ask about the running game, and how do you think, because we talked about it a lot, of James Cook is coming in, and he came in and notoriously fumbled his first touch in the NFL, didn't get another he had, I don't know what it was the
He
Miami
had 4
game.
catches for 37 yards
Right.
against the Dolphins. Looked
Right.
pretty good at the end of that
Right,
game.
so he got some there. Then he came in the other day and
Drops a pass.
drops a pass and didn't see him. So
Right off the field again.
How do you feel about the way Sean McDermott has always handled those guys who handle the ball a lot? If they start coughing it up, they're
They're gonzo. They're off
it's
the
a
field.
loud message carried
Yeah,
out
it's-
silently by you just sit down and be quiet.
Yeah, it's
You know?
it's
How do you feel about
very,
that?
I mean, and it's usually the running back, so I really hate it.
He doesn't do that to anybody else. Like if a receiver drops a ball or catch,
That's what I
drops a
can't
catch.
understand. If Stephon Diggs drops the ball, I mean, he don't pull him out for a couple of plays or whatever for a series, does he? I mean,
Well,
you
he
gotta-
dropped one in the end zone.
I'll say this:
Gabe Davis.
Devin Singletary coughed one up and he was back in.
Well, I will say this about that. After the game, Coach was asked specifically about Singletary's early game fumble. And he said, those are tough to come back from, but I know Devin is a guy that knows how to reset his frame of mind and get back in the game. There is clearly history and a trust factor that McDermott has in Singletary that he can get back on the ball, for lack of a better term,
Right.
and just kind of get back into the flow of the game. Now, that's not to say that he doesn't have a history of fumbling. He does. I mean, it's a true. I mean, it's fact.
Yeah.
But I thought that was an interesting response in light of what we've seen with some of the other backs. Whether you want to go back to Zach Moss in the game in Arizona when he coughs it up inside his 20-yard line, didn't see the field until like the end of the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
to, James Cook and what we've seen with him.
Yeah.
Week 1. Didn't
Yeah.
see he got 3 plays.
Well, I tell you what, that's the way Sean has always done it.
Oh, and he hasn't
It's no
deviated.
surprise.
Right? Yeah, it's no surprise. I mean, he's just
You don't have to like
not
it.
going to tolerate it.
You have to like it. You got to expect it.
Yeah, you got to expect it. And hey, I mean, what do? You try to, you try to protect the ball a little bit better. I mean, that's all you can do. I know after look, as a running back, and you say you have a fumble early in first carry of his career. Yeah, I mean, it's what I need to do.
Right.
Now, to hold on this a little bit tighter than I did there. So it's always in the back of your mind. Like, if I did it, in the first quarter, the way I carry the ball and the way I used to do things kind of changes a little bit because I don't want to be in that situation.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you tense up a little bit and all right, I'm not going to make this cut. I'm just going to go to the ground.
Well, I remember when Tiki Barber had all those fumbling problems. He
Yeah.
changed the way he would run
Carry the-
with
yeah.
the ball. He carried it higher
yeah.
and kind of wedged it up into his chest pad almost, which is, it's unconventional. He had it way up
Yeah,
here.
he had it way
So
up.
if you had a chance to sit down with James Cook, and he's trying to get on the field,
I
he
know
just
he
wants
is.
to get on
I
the
know
field.
he is.
What's your advice?
My advice has been the last 3 weeks, since he fumbled
yeah.
in his first carry in an NFL game, I've been chatting with him ever since. Ever since. I say the next best thing for you to do is come in there early Monday, getting your work done, come practice, be out there on the football field ready to go. Don't sit back and just try to, oh, man, I can't believe I did it. Now I'm always thinking about it now. You go out and you play. I thought, what was it? We caught that first pass. It might have been the second game against Miami. It was like a 12 or 15-yarder when he was playing outside, playing wide
Yeah, they lined him
receiver.
up wide.
Yeah, and lined him up wide. I was like, okay, that's what they need to do. Instead, okay, try it that way instead of running the football. Put him in more passing plays.
Yeah. And
Right.
you and I talked about that, I remember, after that Miami game when you came in, because I was talking to you about how he can feel, he's really good out in space,
Yeah.
feeling defenders. Like, he doesn't even have the ball yet, and he felt this defender over here.
Yeah.
And so as he caught it, he made his first move to elude this guy or only give him a shot at an ankle instead of his whole body to tackle him. He gets away from that guy. He gets another 8 or 9 yards on the catch.
Screens, draws, get him the ball.
That's right. And
Yeah.
let's not forget this. This week, you got a beat-up receiving core. they haven't made a move yet on the roster. Like, Kumarow's got the high ankle. He's not practicing. We know that Jamison Crowder's not going to be playing anytime soon. And McKenzie, he's limited out there in practice today, but he's still in the protocol. You got three healthy guys. Yeah. I know you got practice squad elevation, Steve, but this kid can run routes.
I get it. But here's the thing. You got the Steelers coming in here, and the shape that their team is in and the way they're playing football now with a new rookie quarterback, the only way or the best way that they're going to beat the Buffalo Bills is turnovers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if you think it was bad before, try coughing it up on the opening series against the Steelers this week. It'll be November.
Stop trying to jinx my guys.
November before you're active again. It's true.
Jinx my guys.
Turnovers is the thing that could cause this game to go awry for the Buffalo Bills.
Absolutely.
So, and the players need to know.
Just because it's a 14-point, underdog.
I don't think
this is Mike Tomlin.
That's his wheelhouse, man.
It's his wheelhouse. This is what Even if they were talking about getting fired, this is his game right here. This is his playoff game right here.
Yeah.
To come in here and try to upset this team.
And it's interesting you mentioned turnovers, Steve, because the Bills and the Steelers are tied for the league right now with 7 interceptions, due mainly to Jordan Poyer for the Bills and Minkah Fitzpatrick for the Steelers. Poyer's got 4, Fitzpatrick's got 3, but both teams have 7 takeaways. The problem is Pittsburgh's secondary is in worse shape than ours.
I know.
Right. 4 of their top 5 guys in their nickel package are all on the injury report yesterday. They didn't even practice.
Well, we talked about this before. Remember we were talking about the dink and dunk? Well, this is an opportunity now to go deep because they don't have T.J. Watt. If they can, you might have a chance to stand back there and do it, and let a couple go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this might be that week instead of the check down here, check down there.
Which brings me to another conversation. Steve and I had this conversation on our podcast, Bills by the Numbers. This year thus far, especially in the first half of games, the Bills have traded in explosiveness in favor of efficiency.
Right.
When they get to third down, there's a lot more third and shorts, third and mediums, which are easier to convert, but it's taking them a lot more plays to get down there and score the ball, and in turn, that is giving them fewer possessions in the first half, Thurman. So I looked up some of the numbers.
Yeah.
They've had, through the first 4 games last year, in the first half, 28 total possessions. This year in the first half, through the first 4 games, 20 total possessions. Wow. So you say, 8 possessions, what's that? That's an average of 2 less possessions per half. That's 2 less opportunities to score points.
Score points.
What do you think of that? I mean, and part of it's how the defense is playing you, Thurman, but just your thoughts on fewer opportunities to score the ball by going more efficient throwing.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see more of the big play.
Yeah, right?
2 plays, 30 seconds, touchdown. That's what I would like to see.
And Dayball was known for that. If they're between the 40s, you know there's a shot play coming, right?
Yes, it is. Right. Yeah. You know what? I mean, if you're looking at the National Football League so far this year, the first 4 weeks, there's a lot of things out there that are going the opposite way that they should be going.
Yeah.
Most teams are running the football that have kind of the lesser quarterbacks.
Yep.
Not the guys that
that makes sense.
Yeah, but so like the
Ryan Tannehills of the world.
Right, the Ryan Tannehill,
Geno Smiths of the world,
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
They're leading the league in rushing because their quarterback is not as good as some of the quarterbacks we have up top. So I get it. All the numbers are starting to change and go the opposite way, but as long as, even if those attempts for the Bills are at 20 now, are they still scoring points?
Yeah.
Which I think they are.
They are. But here's the thing. Last year, they had an average lead at halftime of 12 points on average through the first 4 games.
Yeah.
An average lead of 12 points. Now, granted, you got Washington in there with Taylor Heineke. You had Davis Mills in his first career start with Houston. So there are some games. There are some games in there that skew it a little bit. But the point here is the advantage at halftime this year, net points, it's 0. And let's not forget, Rams, 10-10, right? And then not Miami, Tennessee was the only game they had a lead. They were up 14 at half. But then Miami, no advantage there. And last week, they're down 10.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes.
I know,
with this efficiency over explosiveness, and again, part of it's a lot of high two cover shell, all of that stuff. It's got to swing back, right?
Yeah. Well, here's what you got to know about all the analytics and the numbers and the percentages. What that stuff does is tell you who you are, who you could be at the moment, what you do good, what you do well.
Right.
It has nothing to do with what happens on Sunday, because the Pittsburgh Steelers haven't played the Bills yet this year. It's a different roster, and if you find a statistic that will tell the future, then you've got it. None of these statistics do, and I think the Bills' offense is going to continue to evolve as Ken Dorsey gets more comfortable doing it and they find out more about it and their roster stops being a little bit of a topsy-turvy, injury-filled mess.
Yeah.
So all that goes into the stew. So this offense, I think, is capable of doing any of the things we're talking about.
But it's hard for me not to think about that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to jump ahead here, but it's hard not to think about that and what it could mean when you face a team like the Chiefs, who just hung 41 on a top-5 defense in the Bucs last week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what? All these numbers y'all talking about and analytics and all that stuff, the only thing
Don't sound like an old guy now. Careful.
No, the only thing I
Careful.
remember about was last year they came in there opening week and beat the crap out of us.
Yeah.
That's
true.
enough right there to fuel
Oh,
my
the Steelers
fire.
you're talking about.
The Steelers. Exactly. That's enough right there to forget all these
Well,
numbers.
their
that y'all
5
looking at
couldn't
talking
stop
about.
their 4.
Yeah, well, this is a different year.
And I'll say this,
It's
too.
a different year.
You go back and look at all the things that happened over the course of the 2021 season. You win that game, and all of a sudden you're the 1 seed or the 2 seed, not the 3 seed.
Absolutely.
It makes a big difference
Big
when you
difference.
got teams coming in to see you rather than going to them. And
Well, you guys know that firsthand.
we got to that point where it was like week 1 of the season. Mars going, listen, guys, we need these games to come through Buffalo in January.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of years when we made it happen, and it was
Made a difference.
This is-
it made a
I mean,
difference.
They may be a 14-point under, but this is a huge game for the Bills because you know why? I'm gonna tell you right now. I want after the third quarter is over, I want to be walking out of the stadium knowing that Josh Allen is going to the sideline again.
Put his baseball hat
With
on.
his baseball hat, and you're getting some guys some rest to come in for the KC game next week. And it looks like we should be pretty healthy coming into that game.
Well, let's hope
with
so.
Phillips and Oliver, maybe. I'm not sure. But if it's the one game that they should be waiting for and not overlooking this one, is Kansas City.
Here's the problem. It is a big game for the
Yes.
Bills, important game. But it's also a big, huge game for the Steelers.
Okay.
And
Well, yeah,
I
they
take
go to
our
one
guys instead of that rookie
you
quarterback.
you can't turn it over.
Najee Harris could probably get
You
30
can't
carries.
turn it over.
No, I don't. And I don't think the Bills will turn it over. They
Well,
may turn over one, but whatever. I'm
I
looking
get
at-
it.
I'm
I get
looking
it.
at
not if
your
they got
team.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie in the secondary
I'm
because
looking
of
at your
injuries.
team, and I'm looking at their team.
All right.
Yeah, it's
I
go
agree.
time right
I
away
agree.
from the beginning.
Yeah,
The
no
Bills-
TJ Watt. I
the
mean,
Bills should hit the ground full rev and go 100 mile an hour and then shift
absolutely.
gears.
Yeah.
They should. This is a game where if it goes the Bills' way, obviously they really should shift gears early in the third quarter and just put it away and
put
have
it
some
away.
guys sit. You can see that scenario easily.
Absolutely, put it away running the football. That's how you do it.
Yeah, and you do,
get
and,
those reps.
and it's happening
That's
because
when you can get those reps.
because the Steelers not only are starting a rookie quarterback, they're injured, they're hurt, and
they're hurt bad.
they're hurt bad, and they're thin. So
I'm worried about Kenny Pickett's health. I really am.
yeah, he'll be all right.
He's going to get the tar kicked out.
He'll be all right. They protect
The
those
Bills'
guys.
defense
He'll be
is
all
top
right.
5 in
He's going to go
sacks.
down. Listen.
Quarterback pressures.
I'll do it again. I did it earlier in the year. I think I did it week 1 with Matt Stafford.
Oh, the
maybe.
guy that got hit on 22 of 41 dropbacks?
That's right. I said before the game, I was like Al Davis. Their quarterback's got to go down, and he's got to go down hard.
I think he's going to.
And we'll see. Because you can bet.
This ain't like playing at Pitt.
Yeah,
This
we
is in the
should-
ACC.
I know. So we couldn't see another showing of Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh, well, yeah, we may see him after all. How about
come
that?
on, guys. Come on. You're like, yeah, we're going to put their starting quarterback out. We're going to score 50 points. Come on, man. Pump the brakes.
Man, that's
It's going to be it's going to be a better game than that, I think.
You think so?
I do.
think so?
I do think
All
it's
right.
going to be a better game than that. The
Okay.
Bills are the better team, no question. But the Steelers are not going to go away quietly.
okay.
All right. We thought the same thing about the Titans.
Boom. There you go, Brownie.
And he had Ryan Tannehill.
Well, let me just tell you something.
And Derrick Henry.
Let me tell you this.
And Derrick Henry.
I did think that about Miami.
Okay. So you're 1 for 2.
I thought they were going to be. Tell him what the. Tell me, I'm 2-1.
Oh yeah, you
I'm
did say it would be
2-1.
close with Baltimore, but I felt that way too.
Let me tell you this though. What did I say? I told you. What did I think about Miami? 63-0. I thought we were going to beat them.
Yes, that was.
I thought we were going to absolutely
missed the mark
beat
a little
the
bit on
stew out of those
Yeah,
guys.
you missed that mark.
I was dumb.
That was that was actually the one game I was worried about.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
you knew their
last
defense
week
was
when I-
good.
No.
Their defense is good, even though they can't really get a pass rush. It's bizarre.
I'll say this: if it's a wonderful day when they come up to Buffalo in December, I'll take 63-0 again.
Oh, you will? Okay. Put that on the whiteboard.
Wow. And are
Did you
those-
erase
are
it
those-
from-
Are those going into the new concussion protocols that are coming out? Maybe?
Yeah.
Well, somebody was selling
Yeah, it's
Tua that he might need to hang it up for the year.
Well,
There's
guys,
been stuff out there about that now, and
Well,
obviously, I think.
listen.
I'm just going to say this.
Yeah.
We remember when Kevin Cobb was here,
Oh,
and I know he's most famously known for slipping on a mat at training camp, but third preseason game that summer, he gets kicked in the back of the head. He got taken down, and one of the linemen came through and accidentally kicked him in the back of the head. He got a concussion. He never played a game for the Bills,
never.
and never played again.
Yeah,
It was like his 5th concussion in 2 years.
yeah.
And he was not right for months, like 8 to 10 months.
It takes
because
long.
he had
You remember
5 and
another quarterback, Trent Edwards. Remember Trent Edwards when he got his concussion when
Yeah.
he was in Arizona? Never the same after that.
yeah.
well,
So
and
it's
there's been
it's
players
serious
before.
stuff.
Remember Altoon for the Jets.
Yep.
Well, yeah, he had a lot in
Merrill
succession.
Hodge.
Merrill Hodge,
Same
yeah.
thing. It has happened.
It has happened.
When you have them in close proximity, that's when they really
That's when it's
can
dangerous.
take it to a
and
dark
it's
place
very
and it's
serious,
dangerous.
Which is what happened to Tua.
Yeah, because I don't care what anybody tells me. That guy had 2 in 5 days.
Yeah,
and
he did.
I'm not a doctor. But
Yeah, in the
That
first
did not
one
pass the eyeball
The first
test.
one was just as serious as the second one because he got up and hobbled around.
If you watch that tape closely, so you know in the Cincinnati game when he had the frozen pose with his hands, if you watch that Miami game back, for a split second, he does the same thing.
Really?
Just for a second, because he
Right.
goes to grab his helmet and he
Yeah.
freezes.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually grab it.
Yeah.
I think it's because he had the freeze thing again. It was a lot shorter period of time.
I think after he had the freeze thing too, he went like this afterwards. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I know
but he
exactly.
had it was
Yeah.
very slight, but for a split second he froze.
Yeah.
Couldn't grab his helmet because he was trying to.
You don't have to convince any of our listeners that Tua
Yeah.
had a concussion because
Right.
he was
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah, he was.
And I was
he
at
out.
that game,
And you could
guys.
see it too because he went down and it was an innocuous hit, but his
Yeah.
head hit the turf.
Boom.
And then there's the freeze.
Yep. There's the freeze.
He can't grab his head. See, he's frozen. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It just didn't last as long as it did in Cincinnati. Same thing.
Now, and here's the thing: here's why you really suspect it was not. He said his back was hurt. He never grabbed his back.
Never
once.
touched it.
Never touched his back or reached back on his sciatica and all
Oh,
that.
there-
And then he wobbles and goes down.
No.
Right there. Come on.
That's a
back.
no-go.
That
right
is not
there-
a back.
Right there.
That's
you're
a
done.
no-go.
You're done for the day.
And here's the other thing, guys, because I was in the press box, and where those players exit to go to the Miami locker room, it goes right in front of us in the press box there. He was wobbling even here.
Yeah.
Like there was one spot right before he got under that tent, he wobbled again, and the doc kind of escorted him again.
Yeah.
So it was bad. It was really bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what repercussions those
If any,
doctors
but-
are going to get, but
Well, he got fired. The independent one.
well,
got,
yeah.
And the,
but I'm talking
Miami,
about the team doctor.
The
'cause
team
that's
doctor.
the guy that ultimately decides who goes back in a game or not.
Team doctor probably got a raise.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm
I
being
do know that the
facetious, but-
first offense, if the league finds them guilty of an offense of the concussion protocol, they put the medical staff through remedial training, and the team's fined $150K.
Wow.
Right.
That's peanuts, right? That's
Yeah.
not enough
Yeah,
to
that's-
convince people to do something different.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a shame. So
not happening.
I'll be very interested to see what these new protocols are going forward. Hopefully, they can protect the players a little bit better than we've seen so far this year. It happened in Tampa too with that tight end, that Cameron Brate. He went
Yeah.
back in the game.
He went back.
Yeah,
in the
he
game.
went back in the game.
It's terrible.
Somebody. Woo.
Thurm,
Glad I'm over here, baby.
Thurm, yeah.
Side of it, yeah.
We eagerly anticipate your jersey reveal.
Absolutely.
What do? You do that on Instagram usually, right?
Yeah, on Instagram.
What's your?
yeah.
Give everybody your Instagram handle. So
I
they
don't
can,
even know it.
Just do a search
Yeah,
for
I don't
Thurman
even know
Thomas.
it.
You'll find it.
Thurman Thomas, 34.
I don't know. It's kind of like a fun thing. See
Yeah.
what jersey Thurman's got on this week.
Yeah,
So
so.
check it out on Sunday. He'll probably have it out there Sunday morning.
What time you coming over them Sunday?
Oh, I think I'm. You know what? I enjoyed the tailgating.
Yeah,
too.
I get here
the
early.
the
This
first
is
game.
prime time this time
I
of year.
know. Yeah, 1 o'clock. Yeah, I might get here like 10.
Yeah, I might be here before that. a
Yeah,
little bit,
exactly.
yeah.
It's gonna be a good one here.
Yeah.
Thurman, thanks for stopping by as always. We appreciate it. Enjoy the game on Sunday.
All right, appreciate it.